Alright, so what I'm doing here is a very basic video on how we need to go about building a super smelter and other sorts of automated furnace devices in Minecraft. It's not meant to be high quality, but I couldn't find a YouTube video that showed exactly what I wanted to see, and so I decided I would just make my own and it'd keep it nice and simple. So this is your basic furnace. Obviously we won't go through much of that, but things go in, things go out, fuel goes there. But you want something better, something that lets it run more while you are gone. So what you can do with that is something of this nature is the very basic form. Hopper on the top, hopper there, and then in the top, and there, whoops, there. Alright, now whatever you put in the top, such as iron ore, will start sinking through the hopper and go into the top slot, the slot that all your smeltables go in. And then if you look at the bottom chest, anything goes in there, it will go in the fuel slot and it will start smelting. Now you can keep it like this, and this is the most basic form where it just leaves it in here. This is good because it lets you pick up the experience. But if the experience isn't a big problem for you, what you can do instead is stick another chest somewhere like here, and then a hopper on the bottom, and it will start pulling them out to the bottom. But if you pick it up, you will not get the XP from it. So that's your basic automated chest system. Chests do not have to, automated furnace system. The chests do not have to be facing this particular direction, because I got them facing all different directions. That's just how I place them. If you are doing this, you will find that sometimes whenever you click on something, like to place a hopper, it will instead open the chest or the furnace or whatever. To fix that, you simply hold down Shift when you click on it, and it will place it instead. Okay, but this is really simple, and it does a little bit, but it works kind of slowly, just the same rate as your normal furnace. We want something better. So, the more better, betterest, whatever the word is, way to do this, we will, we'll still do it at this height, it's okay. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is what a full stack of cobblestone arranged to make a furnace will make you, is 8 furnaces. So we'll go with that. Do kind of the same thing we did last time, where you click against the furnace. Make sure you click against the furnace. That way the hopper looks like it's pointing into the furnace. That's very important. And do that for the bottom, and then come up here. Do the same for the top. Right? And if we want to make it like we did the one time, we would put a chest here and chest there. But that wouldn't work because we just should put more things in the more chests. And that's just not a good thing. It's not efficient, doesn't really help us that much. So what we do instead is we grab some rails, some power rails, and we run them along here. Tell you what, you could run power rails for all of it. I'll do that just for the sake of the video. But if you want to save on cost, they do not all have to be powered. Would you stop that? Let's see. Stick one on the end here like this, so that I keep messing up. Stick one on the end, then there we go, nice and straight. I'll get this figured out once I get more, or not figured out, but situated once I get more on here. So, and then there. And then there. Alright, so you got some powered rails. To activate the powered rails, you will need a redstone torch place like this. And see, they light up. That means they are powered. When a rail is powered, the minecart will automatically move back and forth along it. When they are unpowered, it's like there's brakes on the minecart and it does not want to move. So you want to keep it powered. Do the same, find a spot, and what do I need to get rid of? The dust. There we go. And stick another one down here. They can kind of power a long distance, but if you want to save on costs and say have some of them be just regular rails, then you will need to make sure that you have redstone torches touching each section of powered rail so that it works out better. Make sure nothing like ended up in there. Alright, I'm in creative mode. Sometimes a thing to pay attention to when you're placing this in survival is when you break a rail, it might go in a hopper, so you'll either have to pull it out of the hopper if it stays in the hopper, or pull it out of the furnace itself. So we got our setup here of a sense. We want block here and block here. We don't want a regular minecart, we want one with a chest. And then to prevent the system from, oops, stop that. Like that. Just in case. And then we're going to want to do the same here on the bottom. Oops. Where we do a regular. And then a powered rail. Another power. Stop that. Let's see. Let's back it up a notch so that it doesn't give us problems. If you're willing to fiddle around with the fact that these things try to move all the time whenever you place one next to it, you don't have to back it up an extra notch, but I will just to keep it simple. So you do it like this, and then you want to grab a lever, place a lever there, another lever there. That way you can flick these on to power mode and off into brake mode as you need to. Let's actually break it like this. And then you will want a slab. Any kind of slab will do. We will just use sandstone because that's what we're using for everything else here. And you want it like this. No, sorry. Like that. Okay. And then you want a minecart here. And flick that back off. A minecart here. Come on now. There we go. Alright. Now, as I said, since it is minecart tracks, you can always bend them around. And like if you want the chest to be like sorted right here, that way you can kind of look at the output here. Then you just kind of bring the rails down, the rails down and around to this angle. But you want the stop to always kind of look like this. And because you'll have a ramp if you put it here, you might have to put in a couple extra powered rails and fiddle with it a bit. This is just the most basic setup. So this allows you to, considering your platform is here, come up and then put stuff in that chest for fuel, for example, coal. And also do this to keep things simple. Alright. This is, oops. Gotta make it look nice. There we go. So this is fuel that goes in the right one or the bottom one. It'll depend on how you build it and how you have the minecart tracks roll around. But in the case of this, the one that connects to these here are always going to be the fuel one. The one that connects to the one on top is going to be the smeltables. There we go. Much better. Alright, so you can right click on the chest, put coal in it, set it to running, and keep it running as long as you want. I'm just not keeping it running because then you just have to listen to minecarts actually. Let's just turn the volume down like this for a moment. That way we can keep it running without having to listen to the minecarts. And then you walk up to this one. Sometimes you might have to angle it just right. Put your iron ore in there. Set it running too. And you can see it evenly distributes the evenly is a hard term. The one in the end will always get a little less, because see, it gets a pass and then another pass, while the one at the end just gets one every time it hits the end instead of 2 passes. You can fix this by adding, let's say, by adding to the end another rail and then the blockade. That way the you get the 2 passes there along the last hopper, and that would fix the incident. But it'll start outputting them there, and then kind of like last time, right? You'll want to take the hoppers. Sorry, wrong order. You want to get a chest. You can either put the chest like in the middle here or at the end down here. It really doesn't matter, as long as you have all the hoppers going to that chest. I'll just put it down here in the end. Do it like this so that the hoppers pull out of the furnaces and move it into the next hopper down beneath them, like that. And it will move all of your iron ingots or whatever it is you're smelting into the chest at the end. And that's the simplest way to come up with a super smelter. It's not difficult or anything of that nature, but it is useful, and you can extend it quite a bit. You just have to keep the minecarts going. And the reason why the minecarts are a lever is because whenever it runs out, you will want to stop it. That way they come back up, and you can click on them to fill them back up again next time you want to use it. Personally, while this one consists of only 8 furnaces, I prefer to make mine of 16. Although you can make them of any length, you just kind of got to fiddle with the distances a bit. And, you know, stuff of that nature. There's also ways to do it without any minecarts that are completely silent, but that requires more redstone and hoppers, and this one just happens to be a lot cheaper to deal with, which is why I don't mind it. So, let's see, is there anything else that might be important? Oh yes, you would do your best not to mix these up, or put like the wrong thing in a chest, or, sorry, let's phrase it this way. If you do tend to mix it up and put the wrong thing in the smeltables chest, it might still end up in the furnace. That's why I recommend that even if you like cover a lot of this up so you don't have to see it, that you still leave the furnaces uncovered. That way you can pull out anything that doesn't need to be in there should it get in there on accident. I would also, even if you cover it up, leave a door or some way to get into the back. That way, in case you need to do any editing, or a monster gets back there, a mob gets back there, I mean, or a creeper blows it up, that way you can still get back here and make changes and edits as you need. The only other thing I could suggest doing would be to, and I won't put it in this video, make a item sorter that sorts your items into smeltables, fuel, and everything else. That way you can then have those move it into the minecarts and you won't accidentally put anything in. There's ways to automate it further that way, but I won't bother with that for this video, as I only wanted to show a simple startup. And I believe that's pretty much it. And it was a nice short video just to kind of show you how that all worked. And thanks for watching, I suppose.